What we have been doing with Maverick on our team and a lot of teams is using the data to make some decisions, but it was a bit manual, especially when it comes to rules and alerts, to use the nudging and notify agents and all that stuff. So Brady kind of talked to us. This is a recent release. I think we have a majority of our current clients on here, so we really want to educate you on this major update. A lot of you have been waiting for it. I think it's been one of the highest, if not highest rated feature request for quite some time now. It is here out of beta, and we'll get started. So Brady, what have you guys been working on?
Yeah, let's dive right in. Again, a little bit of review here for folks. Why even use nudging or our rules and alert system at all, right? So again, speaking of big data, we also leverage it internally ourselves at Maverick to try and figure out how to best serve you guys and how we're helping you. And so just wanted to show these stats again. Again, for non-users, we've detected 1.1 appointments per agent on the team at a 40% met rate at about a 1.2% conversion rate across all sources. Once you start leveraging AI coaching, start doing some practice calls, start looking at the grading feedback, that gets up a little bit. And again, if you use nudges, it goes up a lot, right? Almost doubles your conversion rate on those leads, gets your met rate. So not just set rate, but met rate with the clients up another 10%, and just gets you way, way, way more appointments, more at bats to actually get those deals. The best of all possible worlds is using both in tandem. And so again, what's the logic here? How does this work, right? So just going back to rules and alerts, it's just sending a notification to the agents when key activities are dropped. So, for example, the lead called you, you didn't call him back, send a nudge, call him. Great. We pick that up and can continue down the field with it and get it to a deal. There again was a appointment scheduled and they didn't meet. They actually needed a reschedule. We haven't done the reschedule yet. It's been a couple days now. We need to get on that. Boom, notify, go resolve it, right? So the nudging is the key point of that, where you send out the notification to the agent to go and take care of that activity. And the resolution is the key metric we're looking at to make sure that those activities actually occur. And that's what gets you more deals, right? You're just making sure that you're being very consistent with your communications, with your steps in the deal pipeline on every single transaction, every single lead that you have in the system, right? So that's what gets you these numbers.
Little, yeah, and a little insight into this too. I mean, like kind of how this was born early on. Like, Barry and I and a couple of other realtor residents, a lot of times we'd jump on calls with people, right, that were struggling in lead conversion or not getting the conversion that some of us were getting. And we would jump into Follow Boss and we'd have like our little secret sauce recipes that we were going in. They're secret. We would share them on every training, right? But we're going in and creating our funnels and searches and then create the list and then add columns and drag them and sort them and like we were doing. And I could see the eyes of whoever I'm on, the team lead, sales manager, whoever's on that call that's struggling, and their eyes just like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Slow down. But I knew I needed to pull, but basically I was looking for a lot of this data, but we were doing it day after day manually, having to go in and then showing them. And then we'd literally hear them like, oh my gosh, if I had known, if I had known, if I had known. And that's what this is, right? Is how this was born.
Exactly. It's the if I had known safety net system, right?
Well, and Brady, before you go to the next phase of this, like I just want everybody to know, like I used to have to hire someone to go through smart lists to find missed opportunities, to Gabe's point, and that was their job. And now Maverick has, in my CRM, I think it's 17 different rules that it's looking at. Missed calls is one. Warm and cold stage leads, we have a cadence that we want our agents to follow up with leads. When they don't do it, when the CRM does not show a call, does not show a text, does not show, in some cases, an email, this is a nudge. It's a text to their phone. It's an email. And, those are important. But what's most important is a tag is added to the lead. And I have an out of compliance smart list. So when my agents go into Follow Boss, they see a list of all of their leads that are out of compliance. And so that process of nudging them, making the lead out of compliance automatically, and then having a process where I can click a button and take all of the out of compliance leads out of their name if I want, assign them to an ISA, put them in a pond. It's created a scarcity where there wasn't one because we have an abundance of opportunities if you're generating leads. Now my agents they're managing what they have more effectively for fear of losing it. And I don't have to be the bad guy anymore. It's the system. Like, hey, those are the rules, and it really has increased productivity. And I think some of the data points that Brady was just showing really reflect that. So It really is a powerful part of our sales organization. I have two teams, both using Maverick, both effectively using the nudge with very minimal human effort. And now I was having them log in on Mondays, but this whole webinar is that I don't have to have somebody go in on Mondays and do it anymore. I can have all these different cadences. So really excited.
That's exactly right. And yeah, again, just to lead in here to the change, very simple change, but lots of different aspects to it, lots of power behind it, which is basically just you don't have to sit there for each rule that we have anymore and go and click nudge individually or nudge a category every single time that you want to send a nudge, broker, team leader, whoever, admin doing that work, right? Now you can just set it and forget it within Maverick. So you can go through each and every single one of your individual rules, set up an automation to fire, send that notification on a certain cadence, send out that nudge, and then again, your agents will get those, respond to them, and get those missed opportunities closed. So that's really the main thing here. We'll get into all the nitty-gritty of it, but that is the big change that we've made here that is now live in all accounts, is the ability to set those automations per rule. And now you don't have to worry about logging in every day. You still can. That option is there for you if you want to be engaged, if you want to like go through and do that manually, if you want to see what's going on in the system. We do have certain things that are visible to you to show you what the automations are doing. But again, now you have that option for you to set up those automations, and we'll dive into how that works and all the specifics in a moment.
Real quick, Brady, just to answer this one because I know it's not going to come up later. David asks about the Lofty integration. I know we've said follow-up boss multiple times because that's what Barry and I both use. As far as is this working with Lofty?
We're working on it right now. And so the hope is that within quarter 1, maybe a little bit of slippage into quarter 2, we'll have that Lofty integration up and running. And again, we just got Bull Trail up and running here as well. So yeah. Cool. So yeah, just to call it out again, we had some clients on beta. We started testing these automations, just wanted to show an actual result here. So we actually saw a 62% increase in nudge volume for teams that started to use those automations. So again, weren't maybe the best about making sure that they set that appointment and doing the manual clicking and all of that stuff. Went ahead and did the set it and forget it, so they didn't have to worry about it. And now it's hyper consistent, and they see a huge spike of there's an actual missed opportunity that is sitting there, and we now are sending the notification to the agent to make sure they resolve it as a result of the notifications being turned on. So
well, automations creates consistency, right? And similar to Barry, we had somebody nudging on lists, but the other times that same person got pulled away and there are days we missed it. So I love seeing that because it just shows consistency, which we all know in our business, we need more consistency.
Exactly. Cool. So let's show you how it works. So once you're in our rules and alerts screen, right, here's an example rule, money's in the follow-up. That's a lead entering a nurture stage, needing contact on that 28 days. And so you can see some leads past due. You hit that edit button, the pencil, that opens up this overlay here that shows review rule. There's that section here that says auto nudge settings. That's the new one you're looking for. And if you click that, then you'll see that enable automation check mark. So that's it. Like, again, we can get into all the specific settings and filters in a second here, but it's that edit button click, second one, toggle, and then your automation is live, and we'll start to send those automated nudges on the cadence that you decide there in the filters and settings. So that's available on every single rule that you have. You can create new rules, set up those automations, do that on your existing rules, whatever you want to do, that will enable it. Going into the settings here, just to show you a little bit of what you can do and sort of the power of it. So you can actually take that rule, right? Let's take that nudge for the nurture cycle on the 28 days, right? Let's say I only want that on certain sources, or I just want that on one team of agents, right? They're a specific group handling a specific type of nurture customer. Let's say list of specific agents, or even team sphere or both team and sphere leads, right? All of that is available for you within the automation setup. So you're only nudging on an automated basis those teams, sources, types of leads that you want to. From there, there's this day of week and since past due settings. So again, if you want for certain rules just to do it Monday at 9 a.m. as a reminder every week, you can do that. You can also do, hey, we noticed this went out of compliance. And so I'm going to hit you every single day until it's done, right? That's the very high urgency, like this is a paid lead and it's a missed call and you need to get on this immediately. And then again, you can kind of decrease the urgency, right? Well, I'll just nudge you once every 2 days, once every 3 days, etc. Or I'll just do this, once a week on Mondays, or I'll do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, whatever you want to do, right? We leave that up to you, how you want to set those nudge schedules. And then you can select the exact time of day that you want that to go. 9 a.m. right when they get in the morning, 5 o'clock right as they're leaving for the day, anywhere in between, right? And then the max number of nudges, that's another critical piece. So again, let's say I do the every day, that's great. Maybe I only want that to go 5 times. So it's just 1 week's worth of hitting them every single day and not indefinite. I can do it essentially indefinitely. All that's up to you, right? You can set those settings however you want, depending on the rule, depending on the urgency, depending on the lead source, etc.
And there's a question in chat, or a couple here, but teams only. No, we've got a lot of single agents that are using this because, again, I would love to challenge more single agents to look at this. Like, you almost need it more, right? You don't have somebody there or a team leader, a sales manager going through identifying what's slipping through the cracks. So you can set this up to monitor specifics within your business to help you really understand where to focus your time, because you're wearing so many hats and doing so many things. This can be monitoring your database, and you could customize this. Maybe you have certain lead sources that you're paying for that are higher price or a big part of your business. You want to make sure like this is so customizable through the rules. You could even have it like only nudge me on this lead source or this side. So you can really customize this to be that 24/7 assistant that you don't have benefits for. You don't have to train. You set it up once and here you go. Plus all the other benefits we're not even covering today.
Well,
so
yeah,
it's really a tool for single agents or teams.
I mean, I think the principles of a large team are very similar in nature to a solo agent. It's just a solo agent doesn't have anyone, to your point, telling them what to do every day. They're doing what they want. And I think all of us as real estate agents are guilty of just kind of the tyranny of the urgent. We wake up in the morning and we're waiting for clients to email us, people to text us, and fires to put out all day long. And there's not really that forward progression of like, what does my business need to grow it? This programmatically is keeping you top of mind on missed opportunities. And so I have been in love with the concept of nudging since before Maverick, a year before Maverick. It really does make a big difference. Having a computer, having AI, highlighting missed opportunities. And my favorite thing, and I don't know if you're going to say this later, but let's say the nudge is you didn't call the lead back or you didn't communicate with the lead. As soon as you communicate with the lead, it clears the nudge. Like, they don't have to delete tags. They don't have to go into Maverick and update anything. It's just do your job, record a call, send a text, whatever you need to do, and it instantly resolves the issue. So they don't have to log into anything else. It really does free them up to just talk to humans about real estate and ultimately sell more houses.
Yeah, I was on I love that. And I was on a call actually earlier chatting with the team lead about this. We're doing a webinar next week as well. And the thing to think about too, if you're listening to this, especially, all of our current clients, you don't have to set this up on every rule. This is a per rule. So choose the rules. Like, part of what he shared with me, I loved. He's like, hey, when we got Maverick about 9 months ago, we were nudging on everything. I created too much noise. I had too many rules, nudging on too many things. And he's whittled it down to where he's got 2 or 3 different rules that are his consistent nudging. Oh, here we go. Sorry. I went right into this. So literally he figured out exactly what made sense for him and for his team, and even down to the lead sources. And it was on that previous screen, right? So he's a big Realtor.com market VIP team. And that's what he nudges on. Like he filters that because he's realized that when he nudges on those, they're seeing them. And some of them weren't doing the nudges, right? That's what happens. They would get moved. He has a great tiered system. I can't wait to talk about this. He moves them into the second tier to where they maybe get off of certain lead sources. They go on to others. They're not getting nudged on, but they're having to do more prospecting in the ponds and more calls. And all of a sudden they're like, crap, this is harder. This is more work. I miss getting nudged on the ones that are slipping through the crack, because a nudge is not it's not a punishment, right? It's just a reminder, this might be slipping through. You need to do something. So nudges aren't bad on their team. And it was just really cool that they figured out what rules, what lead sources made sense to nudge on. And because they did it consistently, had a process where people would get moved to a different tier, maybe off of certain lead sources if they weren't clearing their nudges. All of a sudden, they were like, I liked those nudges. Those nudges kept me on track. And it was for the better lead sources. I'm now on different lead sources or just cold leads in ponds or whatever, having to do more cold calling. I miss it. It was just really cool hearing the story, how they customize certain leads, rules and alerts on lead sources. and it's become part of their culture to where they're just to what Barry said a few minutes ago, doing their job more often, more frequent because they don't want to lose it. But on the ones that they get nudged on, it's not a bad thing, right? It's not bad. It's like, oh, okay, thanks for the reminder. I'm going to go take care of those because I don't want to lose the opportunity to have these leads. So I just loved how he could customize it based just on exactly what they wanted. So I just want to make sure people understand that it's not all or nothing. Choose what you want and what's important to you and your team or your business.
Yeah, that's a great story, Gabe. And we actually just got a question that I think fits what you're saying. He said, for new users, Dan said, do you have preset nudge plans set up, especially for Zillow preferred leads? And the answer is yeah. Absolutely. We have preset, and they can customize. You can customize them according to, because you've got some stuff that you got to do according to Zillow, and then you have other stuff that maybe might be in-house with regards to maybe different lead source processes or different touch points, and it's all customizable based on your business. I think years ago it wasn't. It was very wooden, and now it's very fluid according to everybody's own business needs.
Yeah, there'll be a bunch of preset rules and alerts in there. I don't know that they actually come specific to Zillow, but they're customizable to that. But just get with your CSM, and if you don't know who it is, we'll have a email for you later. Jump on with them. Have them become part of your team and preset those and set them up specific to whatever lead sources and progress you have. Yeah.
Every single preset rule that we have, there's a filter at the top for source. So you can basically just say, hey, just show me for Zillow preferred, or show me for RDC, or show me for YLOPO leads, my overall compliance on all these canned rules, and then start nudging just for that source. And then again, you can set up the per source automations on those rules as well. So yes, the answer is we do have the pre-canned for pretty much any source that you'd want, and you can go and do deep customization.
And unless it changed in beta, I don't think it did. What's great too, when you set up the automation based on those, you put in your custom message, right? So it can be, hey, based on blah, 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 this Zillow Flex or this RDC MVP or this YLOPO, whatever it is, that rule can have a custom message of why they're getting nudged. And what I love about setting up the automations as well, this came up in the same conversation, actually, two of my guests next week, is they didn't want to, it was bad guy, bad gal, like the variable sales manager. They didn't want to be the bad person doing it. And now it's very clear with the team. It's very transparent. The system is doing it. Maverick is doing it. It's not me going and pushing a button. It's not me hiring a person to go push a button. The system is literally doing this. And it's just a matter of you doing the follow-up inside the CRM.
Yep. So I don't like it when people reread the slides, but I think these are critical points to cover. So I'll just state them one more time, which is as you're going through and starting to use the nudging system, setting up the automations, just make sure, especially if you're using automations, but also if you're not and you're doing it manually, stagger your times, right? Like don't just slam them with all 20 rules, every single, 1,000 breach leads every single Monday, right? At the same time at 9 a.m. Maybe again, you tell your team, hey, here are the high priority ones for the week coming in Monday at 9. Here's some of the lower priority ones coming in on Wednesday, right? And again, that match frequency to urgency is key. It's like, hey, hot leads, missed calls, whatever. We're going to do that every single day, maybe 2 to 3 times a week for just our active clients that are in the process of listing a home or purchasing a home. And then if you have a long-term nurture lead that's not ready yet, that just needs some follow-up, maybe once a week kind of a thing, right? So again,
you hit on one. I want to bring up the missed call, right? It is so hard as a team leader, as a sales manager, at least within Follow Up Boss, and I love Follow Up Boss, not a dig on them, but because I don't have an inbox for every single one of them, it's several steps for me to go figure out who has missed calls from people, especially as we're getting, more and more calls made, even my ISAs, to find out who's missed calls. Then I have to click on it. Then I have to go one by one to see if they have called or text them back. It's crazy. Like that is an easy one. I'd recommend to anybody, if you start with 1 or 2 rules to automate. But why would you not want to automate a nudge to an agent or an ISA on your team that has missed a phone call from one of their leads and they have not called them back or text them back within 2 hours? That's our rule, right? It's just, you would do that all day long if you're the team lead just sitting there seeing their phone sitting there with a missed call from a lead and they're sitting right next to it. You would go, hey, you missed a call from, right? Just let Maverick do it for you. Like that's an easy one to start with and watch the metrics change on how many more people you don't miss because you called them back more quickly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's 2 different ways of nudging, right? Like you can set it to where you can set a time of day every day, or you can do, days past due. So if like with something like a missed call, you don't want to wait days and days, you want to wait hours. But on other updates, Brady, it's my understanding that you can set days of the week.
Correct.
Now, if you set up like Monday through Friday at 9 a.m., are they going to nudge them on the same leads every day of the week, or is it different?
It's different because again, there'll be leads that are coming in now, like from Monday to Tuesday that have hit the breach time limit. There's also ones that gets resolved that are pulled out. And so that list is constantly being updated as the agents are doing the resolutions and as other leads start to fall into that bucket. Yeah.
But like if John Smith got nudged as a lead that they missed a call on Monday, and you have a missed call set to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, until they clear that nudge, John Smith is going to be on there every single day.
That's right.
See,
that's right.
Yeah. So see, and that's the granularity where some you might want to say like, hey, we'll update you once a week, like every Wednesday or something like that. Of you missed, you haven't called your cold stage lead. That's not very urgent. On a missed call though, like I'm going to nudge you every day. I'm going to be annoying. Like I'll just let you know. Like, did you call? 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 And because that's important. We work so hard to have these conversations. And when the lead finally calls us back, it's like, I mean, you wouldn't think that this would be a problem, but it's a really, really big problem.
And it increases as you, I mean, Maverick causes problems on the team. Hate to say that on a Maverick webinar, but Maverick causes problems. And one of the problems it's caused for us is as they're using AI sales coach and getting more comfortable with phone calls, they're making more phone calls and dialing more. But when you make more phone calls, you get more missed calls. So that our rule that shows missed calls like would go up, and now we're having to nudge them more often. So that's one that before automations, we were doing multiple times a day. And I was asking Brady earlier, I'm like, oh, I see the rule, but I don't see where I can have it do it 2 or 3 times a day like we want to. Didn't even think about it. Brady's like, just create a second rule that's also missed calls and do it at a different time. I'm like, oh my God, perfect, right? So I can have an AM missed call nudge that's automated and a PM, which is what I was hiring somebody to do. So tons of flexibility in here.
Absolutely.
So just to wrap up here, we talked about the filters, but yes, exactly. For most teams, again, as you're getting into this, start with a couple of high impact rules, those missed calls, those hot leads, whatever it might be. And then, as Gabe just mentioned, add complexity, add a second rule for a secondary automated nudge, right? Start to build out as time goes on. Here's a couple of our key, what we call golden rules, right? That we talked about it, missed inbound call, active client momentum, 28-day nurture cadence you saw earlier. And then eventually, right, you can add in appointments with unmet outcomes like we talked about, and then that unresolved nudge, right? That's your kind of, again, additional safety net for the safety net so that you can go in and see, right? Like, okay, yes, we set out these nudges, but again, we've reminded you every day and it's still not done. So what are we going to do at this point? Are we going to yank it and reassign it, throw it into a pond, give it to somebody else? Or am I going to give you one last chance to get this resolved before we actually do that action? And so
I'm going to do it. We go back one. Sorry. I just be so me in soapboxes. I'm going to throw out a challenge. We've got a bunch of Maverick clients on here. I recognize a bunch of the names. I'd love to throw out a challenge to create a 1.5, duplicate this rule, and it's 9 a.m. Do like a 3 p.m. because at 9 a.m. think about it. Somebody misses a call at 10 a.m. You're not nudging them until 9 a.m. the next day, right? That they missed a phone call an entire day. I would love to challenge people to do this. Send me your feedback. Send me a message. I'll send you a Maverick t-shirt or some swag or something. Let me know that you implemented it, did it. But I would challenge you, take advantage of the most wanted update to the system feature request and make a 1.5 of that number one rule. It is a gold mine sitting right there at your fingertips, and you can now automate it. And I'd love to hear the feedback on it.
Oh, that's a good tip. Actually, mine's currently set to 9 a.m. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, it comes in at 9:01 a.m. a missed call. You're not notifying the agent until 9 o'clock the next day.
Right.
So we do an AM and a PM nudge so that hopefully everything gets responded to same day.
That's really smart.
And Gabe, for your Maverick ads problems, we call those good problems to have, right? If
you're I like it when create good problems.
Yeah, cool. All right. So yeah, just an example kind of implementation that kind of goes through that step by step, right? Like launching with the missed calls. Maybe the next week, once you've had a chance to kind of look at what the resolution rate looks like, see how the agents are responding, have a meeting with them, then you can add on additional and then go through that expand and customize after your first month of trying rules and alerts in general, just maybe even with manual nudges, and then layering in those automations on top as you go.
Yep.
So last piece here to talk about is just agent resolution. So
and real quick, this goes to the question, Carol. This answers your question, Carol. Go ahead, Brady.
So really key here. Again, nudges are just notifications. You can't literally force the agent to take the action, right? So you need that resolution. Again, reassignment we think is one of the best ways to do that. And again, a lot of agents are actually okay with it. There may be way too many opportunities on their plate. They just need a rebalancing and a refocusing. And so sometimes reassign is actually a positive thing for them. And then in other cases, it's a, hey, we really need you to just be on the rules, on the cadence, on the missed calls. And look, if you're not able to handle it, we're going to maybe take you off that lead source, or again, take certain opportunities away if they're not being handled in a certain time frame, right? And so auto nudge will fire. You're going to set your max nudge limit. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5, maybe it's 10, who knows? And then you'll go into that one rule for unresolved nudges and see, okay, here's all the nudges I sent out that have not yet had a resolution come in. And then again, have your one-on-ones with those teams, do the reassign poll, talk about it in your team meetings, right? And start to create that culture of, hey, this is being looked at. And if it's not done, are you okay? Do you need us to do some rebalancing here and help you to refocus so that you're actually able to do the activities that we're expecting you to do to close those deals, right? Like it should be a positive thing at the end of the day that we're getting you guys on track so that you can actually make more money, right? So reassignment, really important tool, and we're making it even easier. Just a couple weeks away here, we're going to actually get auto reassignment out on top of the auto nudging, so that again, you don't have to go through. You still can. You can manually review and do the reassign. It's a pretty weighty action, so it's still good to have some engagement with it as a team leader or a broker. But if there are certain critical things where you're like, I don't need to look at this, I just want it to be, yanked and thrown into a pond every single time with that consistency, that's coming very, very soon. So we'll have another webinar when we have that release and let you guys know, get you trained up on it, but just another layer of toggle and automation on top of the nudging to put in there.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And, reviewing the unresolved nudges is such a great team meeting topic. And, I approach it collaboratively. I'm like, look, you've got 75 leads in your name. You've got 20 leads that we've been nudging over the last 7 days. You're obviously overwhelmed. Let's talk about getting some of these people off of your plate, because they're obviously not that important to you, right? And so instead of saying like, you didn't do your job, I'm taking the leads, which I certainly could say that. I've watched, not everybody, but I would say the majority of people actually are relieved that I'm taking some of the burden of the daily job off of them, reassigning it to agents that are hungry. Now, if the agent was like me in that appointment, I'd be like, no, give me 24 hours. I got this. Like, I'm not going to let go of those leads, right? But that's why I own the business. Not everybody's cut that way. Not everybody is that hungry. But I think that resource reallocation of leads and relationships and handoffs, reviewing the unresolved nudges is such a fantastic and empowering way to help. And I don't, look, this Maverick is owned by Ylopo. And so I don't think they meant it this way, but I'll just tell you, I don't need as many leads as I used to, because the leads I have are being cared for and managed more effectively through Maverick. And so, for me, it's an ROI accelerator. Honestly, I know they call it a revenue accelerator, but for me, it's an ROI accelerator.
Yep. Again, good problem to have, right? Because if you have that consistency and attention on the leads that you're generating, that means every additional marketing dollar that you spend and every additional lead that you're generating gets you more revenue for sure, as opposed to, well, let's just throw volume at the problem and just hope that something comes out the other end without any accountability or data on it. And then we don't know. We might just be setting money on fire, So
Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. So yeah, if you need help turning on automations, or you want somebody to sit with you and try to tailor them to your business, please contact us at support@MaverickRE.com if you're a current Maverick user. That will get
you. If you know who your account manager is, and you're like, you can go direct to them. That'd be the fastest way. But if you don't know, use this email address,
and it'll get routed to your account manager. They'll reach out to you. They'll set up some time with you to go through and set that up, get it tailored to your business. So that's absolutely critical if you need help. And then if you don't have Maverick, but you want a demo, you want to get started with rules and alerts, you want to try some of these automations, please use this QR code, get on a demo, check out the full platform. It's a lot bigger than just rules and alerts and automations. There's a whole bunch of other reports to look at and things to learn about the system that will help you to, again, unlock that big data so you can make those data-driven decisions in your business.
Yeah, I think that's part of the key too, is just understanding, I think rules and alerts hits a lot of us, whether you're solo agent, teams, brokerages, all of that, but it is a massive product suite. And I think that the rules and alerts create other problems, which are good problems to have, right? Because you've got as you get more comfortable. So like the things like the AI sales coach, understanding how to speak to these people, because you can be alerted all day long that you've got opportunities sitting there, but if your agents aren't comfortable making those phone calls, this is where the other parts of Maverick come in. So it's a full suite to fix problems, create problems, fix those problems, and go through. But yeah, I would definitely kind of go through there if you haven't, or you've been thinking about it, or if you had it a long time ago and you have not seen Maverick in the last 12 months. I mean, it is a whole new product.
Well, and yeah, I mean, and what we've been doing with the new team that I spun up is we've got an accountability coach that's meeting with each of my agents every week for 30 minutes. And he's using the reporting inside of Maverick to empower the weak spots, prescribing AI call sessions. We need you to do 10 calls a week for these 3 scenarios. And I mean, watching, I think that if you don't empower your management, or if you are the management, with the type of data that Maverick is supplying, you've got a couple of like pet projects or topics that you really bend towards. It's like leadership bias. You just tend to really focus on maybe time blocking. Like, you just need to block your schedule more. Maybe that's your drum that you beat every week with your team. And they're doing it, but they're not actually making more money. And that's because they're bad on the phones, right? But you're not good at that topic. That's not your skill set. You're just good at time blocking. Well, now you have data where you can sit down with the people and you can go over it. So as you approach that demo that Brady has on the screen, those of you that don't use the product, I would do a quick assessment in your own mind of what are the things that you do not enjoy about being a team leader, if you are on a team. What are the things that are lacking in your business? Is revenue down? Is conversion a problem? What are the issues that you see it? And then when you go to the demo, instead of just being overwhelmed and impressed, you can say to the demo person, hey, before you start, these are 3 issues that I have in my business right now. And as you go through the demo, I would love for you to highlight those specific topics. If you don't approach software that way, honestly, it's just this like overwhelming nerdy thing where it's just like you're just excited, but it's not actually doing anything. Why don't you just go approach the demo with solving 2 to 3 core issues and let the person on the demo know, empower them with that information. Then you can decide if Maverick is right for you. That's how I approach it.
And not just new users, but if you're a current user, same thing with CSMs. Like, go to your CSM, go to your account manager, say, here are the 3 things that I really need to resolve. Help me to make Maverick work for me in that way, right? Like, so
yeah,
same thing applies.
Exactly.
I have not had that meeting with the CSM yet. Yeah.
That advice, current clients, especially if you've not had it, or if you've not had it recently, going back to so many updates, a lot of the pages being updated, how they work, please get with them and just go back through there, do a full-on audit of your business and what's going on in there, and pick those, 1, 2, 3 things, because it takes just a couple little metrics to tweak to make 1, 2, 3% difference in your business, but that's huge when it comes to the commissions and profitability.
Perfect. So yeah, that's our webinar for today. We'll leave it open for some questions here if anybody has any more, and then if not, we will wrap up here very shortly.
Yep. And you said, just to clarify, the auto reassignment part's coming early next month, right?
Correct. So we'll be in beta at the beginning of March, and if everything goes smoothly, no bugs, no major reports from that beta group, we should have it out to the full group very shortly after that.
Awesome.
And if you guys that are on this webinar right now, if you learn something that you feel like you can use for your business as a result of what Maverick is doing, I want you to put a Y in the chat. For us, when we're doing these, obviously this is Gabe. What did you learn? What did you learn?
You know what? But just preparing for this, already being part of this, I learned the double rules today. Like, oh crap! Like when Brady said that earlier, literally messaged over to the ISA team, the manager, like, create a second rule for the missed calls, because we turned on the one, but I'm like, we were still going to do a manual one in the afternoon. Didn't even think about creating a second rule. And you know what we haven't done? We haven't sat down with Ale and gone through this since it has come out of beta to kind of talk through what we're using and what we needed. And had we done that, I'm sure she would have made the same thing. So yeah, just because of this webinar already solved one of those little problems.
I actually learned a couple things as well. So I'm just picking on you. Well, that's great, guys. Yeah, this was
Awesome.
great. Always exciting to watch how Maverick continues to develop. I put the trust that I have with all of my marketing spend and all my leads in the hands of Maverick, and really, really grateful for the partnership. So, yep. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Barry. Thanks, Brady.
All right.
Here's
Bye.
everyone.